Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here. Drink a beer and play a game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour podcast.
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 291. Thank you for joining us tonight. I guess I need a new salute after today's little inauguration there, Brian. I don't think the old tip the hat really goes for it anymore.
Wait, what salute are you talking about, Jim? What would you
Uh,
do in place?
it's not what I would do in place, Brian. It's just what certain people would do with a lot of money. I don't know what you're talking about.
Isn't that your buddy?
My buddy.
Superimpose Jim doing it.
No, no. I disavow.
Just AI Jim doing it.
Brian, you're not that good at prompts, you fuck.
Oh, I can learn.
You
I can.
would.
You
You
know,
would
if
out of
there's
spite.
spite involved, I will learn.
That's
I'll
for
become
goddamn
a
sure.
goddamn pro. So what's new, Chamber Wambers? We are recording on the 20th. Finally got our first legit snow in a little bit, and our boys in green nearly giving us a heart attack, but did it again. Like,
Well,
what the fuck?
will it ever be easy? It will not be easy. Uh,
Fuck, man.
my
Oh
hope,
my.
my hope is that Washington had their little fun. They blew their load this week. Had their own little Super Bowl early. Maybe they'll come back down to earth because, yeah, if they play like that again, we're in some trouble. So, but yeah, gotta hope for the boys. Please, for the love of God, I think everyone in the world will be a Bills fan this weekend. Fuck Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, and
Oh,
especially
dude.
fat fuck fraud Andy Reid. So, please, for the love
I
of God.
I'm actually just such a hater completely of Mahomes at this point, just because of how protected he is. He really is the most baby QB I can ever remember. Period. So I hate him for that, and how he runs, and his voice, and his family. There's nothing good about him.
What's wrong with his family?
His brother? Are you kidding me?
I know nothing about him.
Oh my God. I'm not even the internet guy, and his brother's just a complete douche, and his wife is terrible too. She like talks shits to other fans and is like, yeah, you can't stop us. Really annoying, very annoying chick.
I
It's
mean,
it's it's been all over social media. I'm shocked that you don't know nothing about this.
right, one, they're all annoying. And two, uh I mean, I remember my wife watching that super QB wife or QB documentary thing, and Mahomes was in there, and she was like, she didn't like their wife either. So I don't know, probably annoying,
Yeah.
but that's a whole right. My algorithm is just so chock full of fucking culture war shit right now. I've ruined my life. I don't
Well,
have. It's either that or Philly sports. So I don't have petty time for other cities' wives and girlfriends.
so yeah, boys won. We got a snowstorm, and as we said, recording on 20th, the inauguration happened, and yeah, the timeline's been blowing up a bit. Jim,
It is interesting times.
did it blow up as much as you expected, or more?
Mm, I mean, probably about as much as I was expecting
Okay.
until Elon gave his little high five to the crowd. But then it just blew up even more than anyone could have expected. So there we
I
go.
mean, that, yeah, I don't, I mean, he pulled a full Jim there. I don't know what he was thinking.
What?
What?
Disavow. When I do it, it's cute.
Damn it, Jim. So, yeah, to say it's going to get interesting, it's going to get interesting.
Well, here we go. We're into the ride now. So moving on, Bry. There's gonna be lots of ways that people cope or not cope or celebrate. So
Mhm.
what better way than drinking? Bry, what are you drinking tonight?
So I am still clearing out the backlog. I'm doing the Hardywood gingerbread porter. I've had their stout on here before, and I swear it's like the same exact ingredients, but it's their imperial porter with ginger, vanilla, cinnamon, and honey. 9.2% for a porter. That is beefy. We've heard from GBS lovers who don't dig on lactose, and so this year we decided to do something about it. Meet Gingerbread Porter, an imperial porter brewed with heaps of chocolate and roasted malts, and infused with our signature blend of local ginger, wildflower honey, and special GBS spices, but without the milk sugar. Happy holidays to our dairy-free friends. Best enjoyed fresh. So yeah. I haven't had a beer from this. They're calling it the Virginia Root series, I believe, but I haven't had a beer from them in this that I didn't like. and this is no different. I always enjoy porters. They, in general, tend to be a little lighter than stouts, but yeah, dark as hell. Decent amount of lacing, but all the flavors I mentioned, it's strong. It's very sweet though. What about you,
Interesting.
Chambers?
I am drinking, keeping it local from the Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company, the Shape of Haze to Come, Imperial Hazy IPA, 8.8% alcohol. So, Bry, me, me,
Oh
me, me, me,
god,
me.
this is where I
This
just mute you. Go on.
this double dry hopped behemoth starts with a base of white wheat, flaked oats, and flaked wheat. We then harness the mythical powers of Simcoe Equanot. Equanot. Right, you're the beer guy. EQUANOT. Equanot.
Yes, Equinox.
Okay, and mosaic hops for a spellbinding brew within hibiscus pine aroma and bold citrus, berry, and juicy peach notes. The shape of haze to come is intensely hoppy with a surprisingly smooth finish. So yeah, 8.8%. It's actually surprisingly not hoppy or piney. It's like a very subdued, citrusy kind of aroma. But I mean, it looks like orange juice once it's poured out there. Some decent lacing on the glass there. It's sticking around. Head dissipated pretty
Nice.
quick, but it's really, really balanced. And for 8.8%, it is not boozy at all. So, I mean, we've had 1,000 hazies on this show at this point, and this is a very solid and well balanced one. That's what I can tell you right now.
So I've had that a few times in the past, but Neshaminy Creek is one of those, and you hear this a lot about breweries where you're like, did their formula change? Did they change? I'm not saying it got bad. I have noticed their beer distinctly tasting differently over the years. So my understanding is they're still expanding, so they're still doing good. But that's another brewery I've never really had anything bad from. So I'm curious what you'll think by the time you finish it off.
Yeah, I will see. I mean, normally the first couple sips could be rough and then it gets better with the booze, but I mean, it started off strong, so we shall see.
Yeah. Well, Chamber, speaking of finishing it off, since
Wait,
last
before we
week,
recorded?
damn it, Jim. Yes, but that's besides the point. I finally beat Berserk Boy today.
Oh,
I've been putting the time in. Um, I'm not even going to say a spoiler for the review. I'm just going to say the bullshit, and you alluded to it, of what it doesn't tell you what you need to collect. I had everything I needed collect wise, number wise.
yeah.
I didn't know the little thing of you had to talk to the one random person that popped up, like to prompt getting the thing you need to get to the final stage. Like there is nothing that tells you because as you play through the game, if you want to consider a spoiler, you rescue people and your home base keeps getting filled with more and more. And at first, I was going over and hitting dialogue options with all of them, and 90% of them are just like complete BS.
Yep.
Then there's just one random guy at the end that you don't know you're supposed to go to. And he's like, oh, yeah, if you want to go get this orb, go do this thing. You're like, what the fuck? And
Bri, the girlfriend, said to talk to the old robot. Maybe you missed
yeah,
that.
but I didn't know I read it, but also I didn't know what the fuck that meant.
Means talk
So
to the robot, stupid.
there's a million robots.
It's only a couple.
And yeah, so did that, beat it. And here's my question. Once again, I'm sure we'll dive deeper in the review. What are your feelings on the boss rush effect of like,
Just
all
in
right,
games.
final stage is just, yeah, like now you're gonna rehash all the bosses you previously fought.
Oh, it's just a cheap cop out.
I agree. That's something that has always annoyed me, and I actually was happy when games moved away from that retro formula and got rid of that. And then obviously this game copying the Mega Man, so I'm like, fuck. Did you really need to bring this back? Not saying it wasn't even like particularly the game's not particularly super difficult.
No.
It's just come on, man. Do I really need to go through all these again?
Well, it is funny because by that point you have one ability that just like completely breaks boss fights and you can plow through them. So it's almost like unnecessary. Like another because like the bosses are almost an afterthought in that game. Again, it's like a spoiler for the review. The bosses are almost an afterthought. Like the real meat and potatoes is the platforming itself. So Like they could have just had a really finely tuned platforming level in level 8, but whatever. We'll get to it later on in the review.
Yeah, but that's where pretty much all my time has gone to because I wanted to make sure I finished it. I think I did finish in a little under 5 hours. Um, so yeah, that's been kind of what I've been gaming. What about you?
So been put a little bit more time into RoboCop. Still enjoying my time with it. Haven't had a ton of time to sit down and put like a big chunk in there, but I mean, it's good. And the humor in the game and the writing is really, really well done. So that's good to see, and it captures that feel of RoboCop 1 and 2 so well. Uh, Besides that, I mean, playing Mario Party Jamboree with the family, a good way for all of us to sit down and game. And I started dipping my toes back into Bloodstained. Basically just picking up where I left off because I was like, I could either restart the whole game or just pick up where I left off. And luckily, the controls easy enough that I don't have a problem with that. It's just I'm still in the hopelessly lost part that I was when I put it away the first time. So like I'm really
Hmm.
trying as hard as I possibly can to not look up like any kind of guide to see what I need to do, but I'm running over like every single part that I'm doing right now. Maybe I just got to craft a ton of shit. I don't know, or speak to every single person. It might could just come down to that, but I'm like, what do I do? I'm so annoyed right now.
Yeah,
Those
I
like I love me a good Metroidvania, but like when they hit that big cryptic wall, sometimes it's just infuriating.
yeah, I'm at that point where like you, I have no problem like backtracking, trying some things, but like if it's that's crazy, like, well, you need to equip this and walk into here, and it's like I'm not gonna try that. I'm not gonna do every combination of everything I fucking picked up. No, like if it's not like, oh yeah, now I have this ability, and oh maybe I could try it over. Like if it's not a little more apparent, I ain't got time for that shit. Who's got time for that,
Yep, and no one. That's who. Well, not a couple of dads pushing 40. That's for goddamn sure.
But yeah, wow, okay, so that's already your second. You're on your second game of the
Second and
resolution.
second and third. Now I'm flipping back and forth.
Hmm.
They're both on the list.
Okay.
Daddy's
See,
trying
I
to put in
thought
work this year.
RoboCop wasn't. I thought RoboCop wasn't that long.
I apparently it's like 7 to 11 hours ish to like beat the main story of it, and I guess like 30 hours if you want to be a completionist. So
Hmm.
yeah, no, it's
Okay.
not anything going to be too terrible.
Interesting.
But I wound up just like exploring it because it's not open world, but it like goes from like sandbox to sandbox basically. So like I
Hmm.
find myself just like wandering around, and you have these little side things where it's just like act like a cop basically, and like break up little things or stop a homeless guy drinking in the middle of the park and shit like that. To like random murders and all this other crap you have to solve. Like I don't know, I
Okay.
like it a lot.
Getting into it. Okay. Has it made you want to start rewatching RoboCop?
Oh god, yeah. I mean, the opening level that you get the din, 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 din. It's like, oh my god, I'm RoboCop.
Damn it. Well, Chambers, now
Right.
that I
All
am.
all I want to do now is save Sting from the Dungeon of Doom. All right.
God
Was it
damn
Dungeon
it,
of Doom
Jim.
or was it the fucking was it the Dangerous Alliance? I forget who the bad guys were at the time.
You should know. I'm sure it's in the game.
God, that would be such an awesome Easter egg if they did.
But Chambers, now that I am done Berserk Boy, you and I said this week is shit week for me because I'll be traveling. But I think we're gonna earmark next week, get together, get our review done for Postal 2, and we can bang out Berserk Boy as well because we're both done it. So Chambers, we're only doing those because those were for a while there the final Patreon request. Except now we also have the X-Men, which I'm very much looking forward to. So what questions we got this week, Chambers?
Right here, good old X-Men 2. Got it right. Can't
Damn
wait
it,
to
Jim.
can't wait to start playing that. But patreon.com/drink a beer and play a game. Worth for as little as $2 a month. You can ask a question that we will answer on each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. So, first and only this week from good old Burned Retinas. Left 4 Dead 2 is a standard bearer co-op game. But if it's off the table and you had to play one of the games that emulated the style, which one would you choose between Back for Blood or World War Z?
Hmm. I mean, obviously, Back for Blood is a more direct. Like it's Left for Dead, but even when we played it, like my problem with that one was everything felt so spongy. Like
Yes.
and each level overstayed its welcome. I feel like way too much. Like you didn't need to make the levels longer or more intricate or have that many more enemies. Like part of the charm of Left 4 Dead was those first early levels, like you plow through fairly fast. If you want to fuck around, you could, but you were like almost forced to do them Back for Blood. And World War Z, you never played World War Z, right?
No.
So that game is actually it is really fun, and there is something you wait for the moment in each level where it's like the full horde comes and you got to like prepare for it and deal with it. I think you'd have more fun doing World War Z, even though it's not the exact same style and it doesn't have that same. The thing about Left 4 Dead that sold us is when you switch, sides. If you get to play as the zombies, I don't know what was more fun, playing as humans or zombies. Because if you pull off some good shit as a zombie, it feels great. But when you fuck up like Jim did all the time as a tank, every time Jim would come in tank, we're like, oh god damn it. We're like, Jim, just get one person down.
I can't argue this fact. I was a terrible tank.
But like the moments in that, it's funny because my algorithm was blowing up for a while there. The amount of people like talking about like discovering the witch for the first time, and you always had that one friend who got too close or shot him, and it was our friend Matt who did that to us all
Every
the
time.
fucking every guy. Dude, I got the shotgun. He would shoot her. Oh, dude, I'm down. It's like, yes, we said stay the fuck away
Yeah.
from the witch.
No shit.
So the only advantage Back for Blood would have is that they do have that mode still where you can switch to zombies, but even playing that, I don't know. It just made me miss the old Left 4 Dead days. So I'll say World War Z would probably be more fun, although there's more diversity in play with Back for Blood. And I know
Uh,
Jimmy, you've only played one of
you know
them.
what? I've only played one of them, and I'll still say World War Z because I did not like Back for Blood at all. Like it's what you said. It's the sponginess. Like the first fucking level, and they're spongy like late game Resident Evil 2 remake zombies. It's ridiculous, and like the
Mhm.
levels took forever. And just outside of that, something besides that just felt off about the
Off.
formula. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I just really did not like it. If you said, "Hey, play this game again," or play, one you never played, I would gladly go with World War Z.
Yeah. Yeah. World War Z, that would be fun. We should try. I would like to get you. I think it's free still. Does your Xbox work at all?
It would not be a good. It would not be a good playtime. I'm not trusting that thing with online play anymore.
Jim, just go buy a new Xbox. Do it. It's Trump's America. You'll flourish. Just buy stuff.
Just do it. Stimulate the economy. Drill,
Yeah.
baby, drill. It's time to fucking drill.
No, but thank you, Bern, for the question. I still really, really want me and you to figure out, Jim. I'm pretty sure you can still do online play. I want us to boot up the old 360s and do some Left 4 Dead.
Do we break them out? Break out the old
I
360s?
I want to do it so bad. We got to do that.
Yeah, because I think Xbox Live still works on it. Just the store is completely dead.
Yeah, exactly. Because people still post. Like, there's this one account, and he's actually pretty funny. He's like, it's 2025, and I'm still trying to get into lobbies on my 360, and like some of the COD lobbies he can still get into, and it's crazy to see. But it's funny because he does the
Right.
thing that we all experience, where you put in the CD, it's not quite working, and he bangs the edge, and all of a sudden it works. He's like, yeah.
Look, Bry, love finds a way. There were still 12 diehards playing Black Ops 2 on the Wii U right before it shut down. So, you know what? There will be people out there. Hell, when we reviewed Resident Evil 6, there were still people jumping in and out of games.
Hmm.
And everyone hated
Yeah.
that fucking game, but it was like 10 years later.
One of my favorite things is when we do review certain games or series, if we get on like the 360 kick, like when we did a Shadow Run and that one random Shadow Run game on the 360, there was still a lobby. And that game, like, pretty much died immediately, and there were still people playing that.
It was pretty much
Um,
a launch game too.
yeah. So, like you said, as long as the server's there, you just need those one or two people. I still remember going back and playing COD 2 or 2 or 3, and it had online servers, and that's where I have one of my like highlight videos of like dudes were like still hardcore, but I was fucking them up with a sniper rifle, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
You and your bullshit. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst.
But do you love it?
No, I am the victim of it every single week. So no, Brian, no, I do not love it.
But what about when you're on my team?
Well, I mean, at that point, things happen.
Yeah. But no, thank you for the question, bud. We really appreciate that.
Yep. And once again, if you are listening on iTunes, Spotify, well, whenever we fix that feed, Podbean, or YouTube, go check out the links to everything else. Leave those comments, leave some subscriptions, leave some reviews. Anything you do can and will help the page. And Bri, if there's one thing I need help with, it is some goddamn sleep. That's what I need help with.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna need help with that, Chambers. As we said, it's the 20th. Twitter has been blowing up,
There is
and
going to
there's
be a lot of doom scrolling today.
a lot. And as we've mentioned, you really, really should be trying out our package that's available to you through Magic Mind. We have the link below. It's magicmind.com/DBPGJAN to get 45% off. It's their combo for a full 24-hour performance between their mental performance shot, which is the regular, just daily shot of, it's not caffeine, but it basically,
It's all
I
natural
guess it
goodies, Bri.
yeah, it's like it is caffeine. I'm saying it's not like coffee caffeine, if that makes sense, where you're not going to get the crash, which is what's nice about it. It doesn't get you jittery, it doesn't fuck you up. But the big thing to Jim's point, and Jim, I know I shared some with you last week, so you've had some days to use it. How has the Magic Mind Sleep been treating you?
I'll tell you this. It hasn't been knocking me out the way I wish, but when I'm out, I am sleeping like a baby. Like I'm reaching that age as an old fat dude where, you get up, you take a couple pee breaks in the middle of the night, hear one little crack in the middle of the night, and you just like jolt up as a parent because, you're just never shutting off. But oh, the dreams have been nice, and I've been in La La Land. I've been like Homer Simpson behind the wheel of the car in that one episode. So, I mean, it's been some good sleep once it kicks in. I can definitely feel the drowsiness as it comes in, but stupid me, I always push through and stay up way too late anyway. But if you want you some good sleep, if you want to be relaxed, get you in that mood for sleep, and once you're out, you're out. It's a help, I gotta say.
Yeah, I was dumb enough to not read the label fully, and it's like take it 30 minutes before you fall asleep. And I'm trying to like force myself. If I take it, I'll go up, put a TV on, whatever. Instead of like as soon as we're done the podcast, take it because I know I'm not going to sleep anytime soon. So
Yep.
yeah, I like you said, don't push through the drowsiness. Try it out. I've been enjoying just the fact, like you said, with as fucked up as I am right now with my neck and my shoulder, like I still am having some pretty lucid, crazy dreams. So yeah, I it's working for me in that sense. And when I wake up, it's not like a NyQuil dream where you wake up and you're feeling groggy as shit. I think you're getting good sleep. And there's been a couple days where I actually forgot it. And what's nice is it's not something that you're going to rely on to fall asleep. It didn't make me not be able to fall asleep the next day. So try it out. Once again, we have the link below. It's magicmind.com/DBPGJAN to get 45% off their bundle pack. And yeah, start living a little healthier life. And I know a lot of you are going to need it with after after today. So
And you know
try
what?
it out and enjoy it.
And one more thing, the shot tastes pretty good.
That it does. It absolutely does. It's not like yucky medicine.
Yeah.
So Chambers, something
Speaking of
we don't
staying up,
usually cover. Yeah,
staying up late, possibly on a weekend, possibly on a Saturday, on a night.
let's talk about yet another thing that's sparked up a lot of interest, and it always does when it revolves around Dave Chappelle, but his SNL monologue. Uh, just under 17 minutes long, if you count his intro and walkout.
Longest monologue in SNL history.
Is it?
Yeah.
I knew it was up there. I am actually super curious. So I watched it. I'm really curious. You put it up here. What is your take on this?
So I put it up on here because a lot of people were talking about it like right after it happened and for a little bit the next day, but between TikTok shutting down, coming back, and the inauguration, it's been pushed to the sidelines pretty fast. I was kind of expecting it to be more into zeitgeist, but uh, the monologue itself thought it was pretty good. It was a lot tamer than a lot of his other stuff that he's been doing lately. And even he acknowledged himself during it. He's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good at getting myself in trouble lately." But yeah, I mean, there were some haters in the comments because some people are just never going to like Chappelle again, and which it's fine, whatever. So they like were saying, "Oh, he's punching down to poor people because of his one like little jab at them when they were all like cheering on all the celebrities having their houses burned down." And it's like, look, man, I get it. I've bashed on rich people before when bad shit happens to them, but when it's something they can't control, like a fire like this, like at that point they are actually a victim, no matter how fucking rich they are, and
Yeah.
and yeah, obviously we all hate Hollywood. And with all the news coming out of Hollywood lately, not hard to do, but I'm sure not every single person in there is a rapist, pedophile, sex offender. There's got to be a couple. So, some of them you might be able to feel bad for. Might not be a lot, but it's probably a couple. But no, I mean, was shocked to have him see a very pro Palestine stance at the end of it and shit like that, which, I mean, for the greater annals of Hollywood right now, it's kind of a ballsy move. And just overall, no, I thought it was a solid, funny set. It kept my attention the entire time. So I had no, even some people are bitching about him like ashing a cigarette on the stage. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
like the
they're
most.
like,
Some of the most icons have been on that stage. I'm like, have you seen some of the people that fucking? You've had Ashley Simpson on that stage. Let's calm down.
right, that is a legendary moment, though.
It is, but yeah. So I'm actually I am in agreement with you. I was engaged. Now you and I, Dave Chappelle, our generation. I feel like most people, he's our prior, right? He's like Killing Them Softly. I think for our generation is one of, if not the greatest stand up special. Like
Yeah, it's top tier.
debatably, you
Yeah.
know, but in the top five regardless. And Chappelle Show, everything else, and his latest. I don't know how many has he put out in the last couple of years, like four.
He mentioned that his Netflix deal was finally over. I think he had to do 4 or 5 for them, something like that.
Yeah. So is it Dave of old? No. But when you watch him, like he has this style, which is what he's doing. Like the sitting down, the just kind of long talk. He's not up like being all whatever. And the smoking thing, yeah, dude smokes like crazy. I mean, you hear his voice, it's crazy. His little tiny jab at saying, yeah, like everyone's happy. He's like, that's why we hate poor people. That's literally where it ended. I'm like, that's what people are getting mad about. I'm like, have you heard his other shit? I'm like, he could have really went in. And there are a lot of comedians that really go in on like poor people. And it's part of their gag, but like I'm like, that one sentence, come on. And they're like, you can't make fun of the fires. I'm like, do you know who Dave Chappelle is? Do you know the shit he said? Like, he went really tame on that shit at the end of the day. But I don't know. Like you said, he was like pro Palestine. I think he just kind of like threw something out there. He's very. I don't consider him the Hollywood thing, as he said. He's a dude that's been living in Ohio for the past like 15 years.
Yeah, he lives in like 20 acres in Ohio. He basically like
Hmm.
owns almost like half a town.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, I don't get the hate, except for the people that just want to hate on Dave Chappelle. Now, is the monologue long? Yeah. Uh, But has SNL really been putting out that much good shit that they can't spare a few extra minutes for Dave Chappelle? You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, no one really talked about any of the sketches from the rest of the episode either, so I'm sure that was probably the highlight of the episode.
Jim,
So,
I want to test you. Name four cast members of current SNL.
yes.
Name one cast member of SNL.
I'm just gonna do a safe bet and say Keenan Thompson because I think he's been there for 30 years now. So I'm just gonna
Is
say
he
he's
still
still there.
there?
I have no idea, but I'm just gonna assume
Okay.
he still is.
Okay. Yeah. SNL is not what SNL was. I mean, it hasn't been relevant for you and me in a long ass time, I feel like, and for most people. So I'm just more shocked Dave would even do it, to be honest. I don't know if he's hosted before. I just assume he has. But yeah, you
Oh,
got Dave
Chappelle,
doing
he's hosted a couple times.
okay. So yeah, guys, take a joke. You're gonna need to take lots of jokes coming forward.
Look,
So
there's certain communities that really don't like him and will never like him, which I get, fine, but
sure.
like, yeah, and even he kind of, in a very vague way, acknowledged that during the monologue. But yeah, I mean, as far as for the lightning rod that he can be, it was also kind of surprisingly tame and just kind of went at everyone instead of just like one specific thing, which is nice to see. He's gotten a little
Yeah.
preachy lately, so it's just nice to see him do an actual comedy set.
I don't think there's any comedian that's ever been universally liked.
Carlin, maybe, and Pryor.
Even him, he's got a lot of people that are like, eh.
Yeah, I mean,
He
I'm
be
on him, but like, because I find him very preachy. But like, I mean, my favorite comedian is David Tell. So, uh,
yeah.
there's
But
one you never hear
obviously,
anything
a
bad about.
lot of people don't like him.
Who doesn't like
But
David Tell?
I'm saying, if you really like comedy stuff, you'd probably like David Tell. But for a more casual person, they're like, yeah.
Dummies.
But that's my point, right? Like, you're always gonna have that. No one's ever gonna be universally liked. But yeah, this one it was tame. I like kind of seeing this though, and I'll always be happy to talk little Dave Chappelle.
Yep, same here. I mean, yeah, Zoomers will never know for us millennials what Dave Chappelle meant to us.
I hate those terms so much.
So it is what it is, Bri. We just have to accept it.
I have to accept shit. Just like I don't have to accept a video game being $100, Jim.
Bri, do it for the good of the industry.
You and I have been talking a
Do it, you
long time.
fucking pay pig, you piece of shit.
Uh, so GTA 6 could cost $100. Take Two, which is a studio that's going to be coming out with it, is talking about pricing GTA 6 between $80 and $100. And they're basically, it's what we've said forever. Like, at some point, like, it's crazy when we were kids, games cost basically the same then as they do now. They've been incrementally like, but like the $50-$60 range has always kind of been the thing. And now some games have even been like basically at 70. You have GTA 6 now, they're like, all right, 80 or 100. And the speculation is if they go through with this, how is this really going to affect AAA gaming and pricing of games? You goddamn know Nintendo would jump on that train right away. Um,
They jumped on it right away with fucking Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah. So my whole thing is, you know what? What's defined as a AAA game, a game like GTA 6 is going to get you hundreds, if not thousands of hours, probably. 80 to $100, the investment for that return on your fund, it's fine. I actually still just would rather there be a much higher, like, make it 120, but don't do any microtransactions. You're never going to get, unfortunately, the cat's out of that bag. Like, they probably make hand over foot. All games do on that shit. I'd rather a very high upfront cost, and then I don't got to deal with that bullshit. But we're not going to get that, right? So, 180 to $100 for a AAA game. I'm curious, how much is that really going to affect sales? Because think about it. Like, on the surface, it's like, damn, that sounds like a lot. But like, even more serious gamers, even when we were in our 20s or whatever, what did we max out at? Getting 5, 6 new games a year? Like
Yeah, but
brand new?
we're normal people though, quote unquote. So there's a there's a lot of people out there who buy a lot of games day one. It's all they have, Bry.
You think,
But then again, there's some people out there who only buy maybe one or two games brand new a year.
well, I guess that's where I'm curious. Like, I am curious of younger gamers, teenagers, whatever. Like, how often are they buying brand new games? Like with the gluttony of games that are available, do you really need the new release every week? Like, do you
No,
think people are buying like two or three new games a month? They could. And honestly, is it that much crazier than you and I probably spend easily 70, $80 on coffee a month or something? You know, if you, I don't know what it is. So
maybe
I
you do.
actually,
I brew my own.
well, yeah, I do too. But I'm saying you could easily do that.
Oh, when I was
I,
going to Dunkin' every day, yeah, I sure as fuck was.
yeah. And when they fucked up their reward system and the shit wasn't as good as it used to be, the,
Oh God,
the,
you could get a free large iced coffee like every 3 days if you played your cards
mhm.
right. Oh, so
I miss
glorious.
that old system so much. Um, but I don't know. Like I am of the belief literally every other form of entertainment for us has gone up in price. Gaming is one of those weird ones that hasn't. But I am a very big believer. There's a sliding scale, right? Like AAA GTA 6, I could see that being $100. Fucking when like Friday the 13th came out and it was $30 or $40,
40.
even that, yeah, even then, probably too much. But it's at least not trying to say that's the new standard cost. I will have a problem if now every game that comes out wants to claim to be 80 or 100. But I don't even think that's really the case. I think companies are more comfortable recognizing like you really can't do that. If you're a 10-hour game, the ball's on you if you're trying to do it. Do we trust enough in the market, Jim, to just say I'm not going to buy that shit?
Bry, you can hope, but history has shown, Brian, that once the genie is out of the bottle in this industry, it's game over. Microtransactions. It all started with horse armor. Look where we are now. Fucking $70 games. It's the norm. If they jump to 80, everyone else will do it too. And the problem is like for GTA, it almost makes sense because of how much money they're spending to develop this fucking game. But it's also like, why do you need to spend that much to develop a game? Like, I don't care how much money you put into this development. It's never going to look right. It's never going to look realistic. Fucking stop trying to chase this dragon. It doesn't goddamn matter. You don't need to
Yeah.
spend $2 billion in development on a fucking game. I don't care how big and how expansive a game is. You don't need to spend that much goddamn money on it. And apparently, like from this article, they're saying if they bump it to $80, they would if they sell 40 million units, they'll make $3 billion, which is like essentially going to be barely a profit by the time they're done advertising and everything like that. So, like, that's insane. Like, this industry is just losing its fucking mind.
But like GTA is a complete outlier, right? Like that is in single player games, that's kind of the pinnacle when it comes to cost, longevity, all this shit, right? Like Fortnite's, Call of Duties, all these other ones, they're multiplayer based online, whatever. They can live through DLC for a long time. As a single player game, and obviously with GTA 5, they've been able to like expand that into multiplayer games. But even before they did that, it's not like it wasn't wildly successful as a single player game. People still come just for that. So
Oh,
I don't know.
it is a total package of a game. And like, with like, I mean, GTA Online made them billions of dollars in
Hmm.
profit. So, like GTA 6 will make money, all the money, no matter what, because it's like a zeitgeist kind of game where it's like there's generations of gamers now that have grown up with GTA 5. Then there's people our age who have been with it since the start. And then there's, a new generation that's going to jump into it and see this hype machine behind it. So it's like GTA is not going to go anywhere
Yeah.
unless they absolutely monumentally colossally fuck this up, which I don't think they're going to do. Like, it's going to be the game. The only problem is, like you said, it's not going to be, oh, here's $100 game and you get all the DLC. No, 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 no. We all know that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, like, dude, my daughter plays this nail decorating game. It's a hand and there's nails and you can decorate the fucking nails. And there's all these different extra nails and rings and stickers and bullcrap that you can buy. And
Hmm.
like I was like she was begging me the one day. I was like, fine, I'll spend like $10 just to unlock everything. But no, for a decorate the nail game, you can't just spend $10 to unlock everything. What you can do is you can pay $10 a month to unlock everything, or get a discount if you pay for a year up front for a nail game that
They
you
fucking
decorate.
got, yeah. They,
So of course I told my daughter, no, 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 that's not happening. Like I would have gladly given you $5 to $10 just to make the kid happy. And here's everything. Go nuts, have fun.
what you're
That
trying to say, shut her up.
correct. I mean that's half of parenting. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, $10 to just be like, here, go away, just play your fucking nails, have fun, enjoy. But like everything's just milking everyone left and right these days. So that's the problem. It's gonna be $80 at minimum. Everyone's gonna copy it, and you're gonna get less for your bang for your buck for the end of time.
Yeah. Like you said, I don't know if it's ever going back, but I am okay. And you and I are in the minority here as probably gamers where honestly, other than Call of Duty, if unless there's a Resident Evil or some game that I can't think of right now, there's nothing I'm buying brand new like day one where I'm like, I'm going out paying full price. I'm okay waiting a little bit. But even back in the day when we were heavy gamers and I could like it would be I did more, but maybe tops once a month. So if once a month I got to put out 80 or $100, okay. But yeah, like especially the like Switch collectors, I think are the worst with this shit, in my opinion, because you just need that collection. If every friggin' little indie developed physical game starts trying to price themselves up like that, you're out of your goddamn mind. I mean, spend money on what you want, but if you're willing to accept every game should be that, that's crazy. GTA, I'll make the exception for.
Yeah, GTA makes it fair, but everything else, yeah, we're screwed. We're boned. It doesn't matter. None of this matters.
All right, Chambers. Well, while the world is angry about many things, gamers seem to be particularly perturbed these past couple days. And what is one of the more hotter topics out there, Chambers?
Well, Bry, as we go through this ongoing culture war, this lovely culture war in the gaming space, we have a bit of a follow up this week. So, a couple weeks ago, we talked about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and how David Vavra, the developer or the head of the company that develops it, put out a little tweet basically being like, oh, hey, look at all these sales we have right now. And he compared it to Dragon Age because that had just come out and that was the big new AAA game. And of course, everyone in the Griftosphere went, oh, fucking based. Look at him shitting. This is what happens when you don't have the DEI. Blah, 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 blah. And we talked about it and we're just like, well, he didn't really say anything either way on this topic. It just seems like he's happy about sales and comparing it to the hot new game. So we thought it was going to stay there. But like anything else in this sphere, it never does. So there was a article that had come out, a couple reports, and it was basically translated from like Saudi Arabia, basically, that was saying that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was going to be coming out and it was going to be banned in Saudi Arabia because of an unskippable LGBT, basically an unskippable gay sex scenes, what like people were assuming about it. And it was a weird reaction because you had a lot of people like there's a link below to my dear friend Tinker Torch, George Torch Games, who is my favorite locale in the sphere because he's just such an extremist and so stupid in so many ways. And he's basically saying does feature source tech for games. And it was funny because Grums of all people was going, look, I of course he was saying it in his hyperbolic, gay ass way of being like, "Oh, me and David fought on the front lines of Gamergate 1, and I know he's on our side and blah 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 blah." So this is a wait and see. It might be concerning, but it's don't attack him. And it's funny because his comment section was just like, "Nope, he's a lost cause. Fuck him." I guess because like someone tweeted at him with like questions and he was like, "I don't need to answer your Nazi bullshit." Even though the guy was like, I think had Nazi in his like description of his title and on Twitter. So whatever. So it's all going back and forth, and Grums is fighting with his fan base that he cultivated. And then a couple days later, Daniel Vavra, excuse me, put out a statement basically saying this turns out we are once again in the middle of a rather bizarre culture war. This time from the opposite side than usual, because, like we said before, the left was really going at them for their historical accuracy in the first game. So here's a statement, but I'd hate to spoil the plot of the game for the sake of it. So, this game is exactly what I wanted it to be. No one has tried to influence me as an artist in any way, and anyone who knows me knows I wouldn't be let that way. Every character in the game has a very clear reason to be where they are, which you'll understand when you play the game. Our goal was and still is to show life in medieval Bohemia as easily could have happened and tell an interesting story. At the same time, it is a role playing game, so it is purely up to the player what decisions they make, and for all the decisions they make, they are responsible for the consequences and correspond to the morals and social norms of the time. I don't want to spoil the plot, the important events of the roles of some of the characters for anyone, so you'll have to see for yourself by playing the game, and then I strongly believe you'll agree with me. So that was, right, a short 3 days ago, but they kept happening. They kept talking. So 2 days later, he said, "It is time to address the wild claims that some have spread that are apparently based on just one screenshot and a poorly translated tweet. Spoiler alert, it contains spoilers about it." So he goes on to say, "There are no unskippable cutscenes in our games. We are not banned in any country. As much as I don't like forced diversity, no one was forcing us to do anything, and we are not forcing anyone to do certain things. Gay characters were already in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. It's an RPG, you're responsible for your decisions, so basically the same thing I was saying before. The game takes place in one of the richest cities in Europe, which was besieged by a massive foreign army. That's why the life in such a city is more diverse than the life in villages which were featured in the first game. Musa came to Bohemia with an invading army as a member of the royal court in King Sismagund. Something about that. He's an educated noble, so it must be characters from the game. I'm not even going to try to read it. I didn't play the first game. At the time, usual figure for Bohemian folk. It must be a folk hero or something. So his presence makes sense and creates a lot of interesting situations in the game. Everything displayed corresponds to the morals and social norms of 1403 Bohemia and is only there to make an interesting story and not at all to appeal to a quote unquote modern audience. We don't want it to be used as a clickbait by people who didn't even play it yet. Some of them sadly turned into exactly the same narrative they pretend to be fighting against. The amount of hateful behavior is really sad, and it will damage any cause associated with it." Uh,
There's a lot to unpack here, Chambers.
there is a ton to
And
pack there.
so we have multiple links here. I even went further with your boy Grums, who is like an odd defender of it because other people have gotten pulled into it, where they
Literally
were
everyone
trying.
else in his sphere was like attacking him, and Grums is the one going like, "Guys, hold the line. He's on our side," and trying to. But
Well,
even he,
Grums and somebody else, I forget the name of it.
I think it was that like Edemion or whatever that fucking guy is, or
Rev says I says Desu or something.
oh yeah,
Basically,
he put out a video today apparently that was defending it, but then Varver just
he,
basically didn't watch it
he
and just
was
said fuck
defending
you.
it.
Yeah.
He just said so that whoever Rev says Desu is basically put out a video saying like, hey, like no, this is actually it's not woke. It's being labeled as woke. It's not. But there's already a drop in pre-order. And Daniel Varva's basically just tweeting, he's like, it's another grifter. No, our pre-orders are not dropped because of it. Like basically shit on this guy, and the person got mad, and then Grums got mad that he got mad. Like it is so hilarious. It's the same as we see on the left, right? Like on the left or right, wherever you are, they begin to eat each other in this weird cycle. Where I truly
Right.
believe, I I,
Right.
I
Right.
remember
Right.
we
Right.
talked about
Right.
this Daniel Varva. Go on.
Right. It is a classic meme for like about a decade on the left on the internet where it says the left eats itself.
Yeah.
And over the past week, we have seen all this Daniel Varver shit with this game, fighting all the infighting in this sphere. Melanie Mack and her big controversy now going on about wanting purity in games and bitching about like whores in gaming and crap
Is
like
that
that.
okay? I was wondering if that is the chick who's basically saying she doesn't want games to be so sexual, but she was like an e-girl.
Oh yeah, I mean, like she was kind of in the actual sphere, and then she got divorced and lost her mind, and like now she's the girl who's famous for saying the F slur on Twitter all the time.
Which
So,
one?
no.
That doesn't wait. I'm not good at spelling, but no. N O.
Look, Bry, We all fly our flags. So it's, just think about that word with some editing. Let's put it that way.
Finland. Got it. Go on.
Ah, damn it. I was gonna, I was gonna try. I was gonna make a classic Jimmy joke, and I was like, nope, don't do it. Not touching this one. But yeah. So like, there's been a ton of infighting in their sphere over her too, which is funny because like for months, almost years now, she's been like the girl who's always on Geeks and Gamers and Side Scrollers, like propped up as like the girl on their side, and now they're all fighting. So yeah, it has been a fun week in that side of the internet, Brian. And this is just it's just
Well,
another there's another part of it. So yeah, I mean, Varver definitely, I mean, jumped the gun, but I can't fully blame him for it because he's been hounded for weeks now by the
yeah.
comments section of all these people of being like, well, there's woke shit. You're not answering the question. We know there's woke. We know that you're against us now. We're winning this war. You're not. And he's just like, fuck. So if he sees anyone remotely on that side talk about it, he's done with
He's
you
just
and he will
tired
just
of it.
shit on you. Yeah. And
Well,
it's
and
like,
that's the thing is like this guy when we talked about when he posted, I was literally he was just happy his game of 7 years old was beating a new game. Like everyone read into that way too deep, and they're like, "Yeah, he's saying fuck anti." It's like I think even then we're like he was like, "No, he wasn't saying that at all." He's just like, "Hey, this brand new AAA game is getting beat by my old game," and I love his responses to this. Like he's kind of like, "Fuck you." No one's asked me to do anything. I'm doing things the way I want to. I didn't include shit. Yes, there are things, but it was in the first game. Like, and it gets explained very well. And it's the fact that he's got to defend or others are defending on his behalf are actually still making it worse. And he's like, shut the fuck up. I don't even need you guys trying to defend me. He's like, I don't care. Like his level of I don't give a fuckery is really high. And I like that.
yeah, like his ability to just tell everyone right now to fuck off. Like when the first game came out, he had to tell the left to fuck off and stop, like, bashing his game. Now he's got to tell the right to fuck off for not being anti woke enough for it. And he's just like, guys, just let me make a game that I'm trying to make about 1400s Bohemia. God damn it.
Jim, would the appropriate analogy be he's basically like when Stone Cold is going in there, you think he's working with the good guys, and he turns around and gives him a stun or two, and he's like, "Fuck everybody,
He's the
just throw me a
anti-hero
beer."
yep. He might not be the anti-hero we deserve, but he's the one we need, Brian.
So yeah,
And yeah, back to your point, his response, I fucking loved it. It was to the point, and you can't really misconstrue anything. He's like, stop using me in your bullshit. That's really what it came down to.
that's what I like. Is like he's like, dude, I'm a game developer. I made a game about something. I'm not interested in being involved with this shit. Shut up. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
And there's like
yeah,
other games that are like hopping on the trend to trying to get that goodwill to get some sales because they know that their first game wasn't that great anyway. So it's refreshing to see him not try to go down that rabbit hole, even though he was tangentially brought into it before, and be like, guys, just let me make my fucking game.
this is it's refreshing because on either side, I think you see the people leaning too hard. They'll go, "Ooh, I got defenders on the right. Now I'm going to lean into that." Or, "Ooh, I'm on the left. I can get brownie points by doing this." No, like this is a dude just like, "Shut up. I made a game."
Nothing makes me happier than when like s- someone on either side looks into a game way too much and goes, "Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the newest one for our side," and the guy goes, "No, that's not it. Fuck you." Nothing makes me
Yeah,
happier than when I see that.
I listen. I'm sure it'll come out. Maybe he's a terrible guy at some point, but for right now, for that response, salute.
Daniel Varver, you've earned this drink, my man.
He's no friend of Jim's like Grums, but go on.
I mean, Daddy Grubs. What more can you say?
But Chambers, here's something. There's many things you could say about me. Some of them are those F slurs you talked about. But
Yes, I would call you an F slur a lot, Brian. You're correct.
yeah, finish.
Right.
It's in my, you know. But
Oh, if
I
that's if that's the new pseudonym, Brian, you were very Finnish. All right.
so So I love lists and I like when we talk about them because I am fascinated. Like you know me, as much as like you might not like it, you know I do put way too much thought into lists and how things are categorized and how things are arrived at. We've talked about many lists, and one of the things we've kind of had in the back burner for a little while. Um, we have a couple like top whatever games of the year, and one that is more relatively new is the 50 greatest video games of all time from Rolling Stone. And I think I've mentioned a few times on this podcast, I'm still going through the fucking 2012, and it's been updated since here, of the 500 greatest albums of all time from Rolling Stone. Now, I trust Rolling Stone's opinion in music more than I would, excuse me, gaming. But either way, when I hear that title right away, my mind fills with like, all right, it's going to have this, and this. And instead of us, I want us to go through the games. I just more or less want us to both say, should it be in a fit? Not even placement yet, because I do have specific notes. Let's go through the games, say, yay or nay, should it be in here?
Also,
So
real quick, Rolling Stone, please just give us an option to look at the list without all the write ups and all the bullshit popping up.
I agree.
This
Yeah.
website is fucking terrible. But go on,
Most
Brian.
websites nowadays are.
Yep.
So number 50, we got Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'd say yes. Should be in top 50.
Especially for sales alone, I'm fine with that. Yes.
Yeah. 49, Hades. Absolutely. It is definitively what roguelikes all aspire to be now.
I'm fine with it being on here. Yes.
Yeah. 48, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Tr-
Absolutely.
Trendsetter. Yes.
47, Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past. Yep.
What more can you say? Yep.
46, League of Legends.
It's the biggest MOBA. It's still huge in esports. I think it should be on here.
I'll begrudgingly say yes.
It's not a scene I follow or I'm into or that
No,
I'll
I
ever
know
play,
I'm the same. Yeah.
but I think it should be there.
45, Fortnite. Yes.
Yeah. That's actually shockingly low, but yeah.
Yeah. 44, Elden Ring. Yes. And you know what? I'm going to say a spoiler here for this list. Thing I respect the most about this list is for the most part, they kind of stick to one game per franchise, per style. So this is the only From Software game. It's a spoiler. I do, having not played Elden Ring, I would say you either put this or Bloodborne because that's what shows up on every top list ever. So one or the other. So I'm fine with it being on here.
Yep. You either have the open world Dark Souls or you have the spooky Dark Souls with more combat. So yeah, that's fine.
43, Celeste. No.
That is a hugely loved indie game. So I would say that's borderline.
I
It didn't
only say no because of some entries later on. Um, Not say like if this was a top 100, sure. Top 50, I don't think it belongs on here. And I know it's a loved game.
Yeah, I mean I can say you can make an argument, but I'll say borderline.
Okay. 42, Batman Arkham City. Yes,
Eh.
because I would want one of the Batman game, whether it's City, whether it's Asylum,
You
or
know what? When you put it that way, and City is probably the best one. So yeah, that's fine.
yeah,
I won't
Metroid
say
Prime.
I won't say it shouldn't be on any's top. If you put it there, I'm not gonna be like, no, that's bullshit. Like, yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, no, I think definitively of the Batman games, that Arkham franchise is amazing. So I've only played Asylum, but everyone I've ever talked to has said City is the best. So it's still on my like I need to play list, and I have the games. I have all the games actually. Um, it's one I'm mad I haven't played more because I think the games are amazing.
Yep. So what was next?
41, Metroid Prime. Haven't played it, but I feel like it should be on here.
Yeah, it's act that the remaster is on my list for this year. So for as much as people seem to love it, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. 40, Chrono Trigger, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. 39, God of War, the 2018 version, not the original.
I haven't played it, but for as much as everyone loves it, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. From action games, has to be on there. 38, Shadow of Colossus.
That is a game that people love. I need to play the
Yes.
HD remaster because like the original version gave me motion sickness, so I couldn't play it for long. Um like I have it on the PS2, but like I said, I can't play it. So I got to play the new one that's like cleaned up to really give it a shot.
That's one of those games where I've never not seen it on these kind of lists, especially in this, like in the top 50 version. Haven't I have both versions, the original and the HD. And same as you, I'm like, I just haven't gotten around to it. It
The bit I played was
probably,
really good, and I hear it tells like it's one of those games that tells like this really compelling story with like no dialogue really. So like I love games like that.
yeah. So I'll just say yes because universally it's almost on every list in the top 50.
Yeah.
Pokemon Gold and Silver.
Yep.
I would say yes. My only question to you is you're the one who would be the Pokemon guy. Would you put this or red and blue?
I would put this because well, I mean it's 25, 30 year spoiler at this point. You actually go through the world of Red in this too. So you go through like the main story and then you go back to Kanto. So that's actually
Okay.
a really cool thing.
Is there any other Pokemon you would put over this?
I haven't really played that much of many of them after the fact.
Okay. But yeah, I agree. At minimum, have one Pokemon. So if this is the one, cool. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate 2018.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 92.
I'm fine with that selection. Because even we talked about it in our review. We were like, if you're like me and you are both of the mindset that 2D is way better than 3D, and if you're gonna go
Mhm.
2D Sonic, it's either gonna be Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, or Sonic Mania. And so if you go with two, I'm fine with that.
I would definitely always say 2 over 3. And I know there's a lot of opinions, but yeah, I completely agree. 2 should be on there.
Two's last half
34.
kind of sucks though. But go on. We don't need to go on this
Yeah.
conversation.
34 Hollow Knight, a game that I really hope you play.
I need to
Um,
play that one day.
this is the reason why I don't think Celeste needs to be on the list. I think when you think, once again, that general style, it's still Metroidvania. I know we already had Castlevania, but that the style, the whatever, I think this fills that void.
Well,
And this game
Celeste isn't a
really is that good.
Metroidvania. That's more of a Super Meat Boy, like super hard platformer.
We'll get to games I think should have been there. But yes, no, I think Hollow Knight absolutely should be on here.
All right.
33. NBA 2K11.
What?
Okay. I'm so torn on this, Jim, because I'm like, what I like is finally seeing a sports game on here, having zero experience with any of the NBA 2K. I mean, honestly, beyond NBA Jam, like I don't have any experience with basketball games.
Racist.
Sports games are hugely important to video gaming. Maybe this is the best one. Just like how we've said with like wrestling games or whatever. Maybe that is the one that everyone was like, fuck, that was great. Should it be in top 50? Is my question.
I mean, maybe. Look, I mean, like you, I haven't played a ton of basketball games, but the only argument I'll make against this one, and for all I know, it could be fantastic. But you don't hear about it talked the way like you don't hear it talked away about like Madden '04 or NHL '94, like stuff like that, like the creme de la creme of sports games, basically, or even Tecmo Bowl and shit like that, or NBA Jam, like we talked about. So yeah, I guess as far as an NBA simulation goes, it might just be the best. So, but yeah, I think if you're going to be in a top 50 list of all time, you also need that like widespread word of mouth as well to get you on there, as well as being like the creme de la creme of your genre, if that makes sense.
So can I throw out some spoilers? Because I agree with you. There's only like one other sports game on here. And here's the deal. This is Rolling Stone. Yes, US based, but worldwide. I mean, there's no football, or no, there is a football game. There's no soccer. There's no hockey. So they they kind of already don't establish that sports games are really going to be on these lists. And when you think of the quintessential sports games of all time, to throw this on here feels like a very whoever was developing this list. This is a very personal thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be going for worldwide, like you would have to put like sensible soccer on there. For as much as the United
Something.
States doesn't care about like, soccer, you would have to have one of those on there or like one of the FIFAs or
Yeah.
even like a baseball game because that's a little bit more worldwide. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
32 miss
I respect it, but I don't agree with it.
same. So I don't think it should be on here, but I respect that it's on here. That makes
Yep,
sense. 32 Miss Pac-Man makes complete sense.
obviously. Yeah.
31 Counter-Strike.
Obviously. Yes.
I'm definitely on board with it. 30 Wii Sports.
Obviously, yes.
I hate the placement, but I'm okay with it being on the list.
Best
Just because
packing
it
game of all time.
just because of units sold. That's it. Not because of the game itself. It should be number 50. That's all
What
I'm saying.
what's a system seller? That's the system seller. So, yes, fine.
29 Uncharted 2. Now you and I both did you ever actually play that? We both
Yes.
hated Uncharted 1.
Yes, no, I played that during level 50 days.
Okay. It's the favorite Uncharted game. I think one of the Uncharted games, maybe. What was your feelings on Uncharted 2? Should it be on the top 50?
It was way better than one. I still thought it overstayed its welcome. I remember when it first came out, it was being lauded as like one of the best video games of all time. And if you talk to Uncharted fans now, I think they like four the most now. I could be wrong on that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to put an Uncharted on there, I guess for as popular as the series is and like critically acclaimed, like okay, I would say
Yeah.
it's a borderline series to be on there. It's just they never fully connected with me. Like I
Yeah.
thought two was fine. One I kind of hated. Two was fine.
Yeah. All right. So we got 28 Minecraft. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I would even say that's pretty damn low on the list,
very
if I'm
low.
being honest. 27 Resident Evil 4.
I'm fine with it on
Yes.
there. Yeah.
It hurts my soul, but yes. As the only Resident Evil, yes.
Look, for Resident Evil nuts like us, we're like, come on. But like for the
For the
general
world,
public, it's got to be
it's
there.
fine.
Yeah.
26 Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I am fine with that.
Having not played it and hearing your review and everyone else's, yeah, I'm okay with it too.
And that's with two having like the lamest enemies in the entire franchise, but it was still like probably the best overall game.
25 Stardew Valley. Yep.
Yeah, I never played it, but I'm fine with it on there. Yeah.
24 The Sims. This warmed my goddamn heart.
Has to be
Absolutely.
on there. Has to be.
Of games that I never knew, this is going to sound really weird. Let's be honest, Jim. When we were growing up, girl gamers were not really a thing. Any of my exes would actually want to play The Sims, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It drew them in. And a fucking PC game at that. And the amount of expansions, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
23, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Yep.
Would you put one or two on there?
Two would obviously be on there over one, but I am fine with one being there.
Yeah, you put one of them on there. 22, COD 4.
Yep. Yeah. Come on.
1,000,000%. And I say this all the time. If you're only going to pick one COD, I prefer that over Modern 2.
Yes, I agree.
21, Fallout 3.
Yep.
Same deal. I know you're a big New Vegas fan. I like 4. But for one that fucking changed Western RPGs forever, Fallout 3, yeah,
And for any of the like the diehard Fallout people who are like it should be one or two,
fuck that.
no one's gonna go back to those and play it and enjoy it. It's so cryptic, it's so hard, it's so uninviting for like new players. Like
Dude,
you have to be a CRPG super nerd to really enjoy those.
I have every single Fallout game. I have all of them on GOG. I've tried 4 times to go through Fallout 1. I can't fucking do it. And
It-
I've gone through Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 4, and 76 multiple times. That style, dog shit. Put 3 on there.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I'm fine with 3.
20, Mario Kart 64.
Yes.
So here's my question to you. So they put uh uh Super Smash Bros.
No, if
The
you're asking
latest.
should it be Mario Kart 8, then I would say yes, it probably should be, but
Well, but here's my question. With the fighting game, I agree it should be the latest one. This one, I almost might agree, should be over the latest one.
look,
There was a simplicity to this.
64 is my favorite, and 64 has been brought back into every release in one way or another since. You either have a music track or a race track as an Easter egg. Like, for a game that's that old, and really, they really simplified the formula for that game. But for it to be that perfectly crafted, yes, I'm fine with that over all the others.
Jim, are you ready for that to be 30 years old next year?
Right, I'm not ready for anything to be 30 years old at this point. It's fucking depressing.
Number 19, Baldur's Gate 3. Oh boy, a new release. It is, from all accounts, it's never not on anyone's list since it came out. I have no experience with it. I'm okay with it being top 50. I don't know about the spot, but I'm okay with it being top 50.
Yeah, same here. It's one I want to play because I hear the gameplay is very reminiscent of XCOM, but well, with more RPG elements, obviously. But yeah, no, I want to play it. I will give it a tentative. I'm fine with it. Yeah.
This is where now we get in our sports game, number 18, Madden NFL 2004. And I
Yes.
will tell you, I am actually okay with this
Yes.
because I know we
100%.
said it weird, but here's the deal. Would you put this over like Madden 93?
Yes, because it's the most fun. It's
Okay.
completely. It's you know what it is. You know what Madden. You know what Madden 04 is. Madden 04 is the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 of sports games, where it is broken. There is no balance, but you will have more fun playing that than when you will almost any other game in the genre. So it
Yeah.
100 and it has the word of mouth. It 100% deserves to be on the list.
Yeah. No, I agree. 17, Diablo 2.
Yep.
As a Diablo virgin to beating the games, I knew one of the Diablos. I thought the latest one actually got a ton of great. I guess is 2 the best?
Diablo 4 had a ton of love. Diablo 3, I think, had a little bit of a rocky launch, but then people loved it. But 2 is like, that's one of those like top tier PC games of all time.
It just did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree 100%. Diablo should be on there. 16, the game I'm playing through right now, Red Dead 2. Absolutely should be on there.
I will go with your word on that. I don't have any interest, but I'll take your word on that.
Yeah. 15, Witcher 3, another game I played.
I've
Absolutely should be on here.
I've not played it, but for as much as everyone loves that game, and it made a fucking TV series out of it, so sure, fine.
Yeah. 14, Street Fighter 2. Absolutely not.
Yep. What? What?
I'm just kidding.
You
Of
dirty
course it's
goddess
going to be
whore!
on there.
You
Of
fucking
course
tricked
it's
me.
going to be on there. As the only fighting game on this list, I don't count Smash Brothers. I still wish Mortal Kombat was on here, but of course you need Street Fighter 2 on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 13, Doom. Absolutely.
Yeah.
12, World of Warcraft.
Yep.
Absolutely. 11, Halo Combat Evolved.
Yep.
Should it be this or should it be 2?
Probably 2 for what that did for online console gaming, but 1 started it all, so take your
And once
pick.
again, that's why it's like as long as you capture one of them in a franchise, yeah. 10, Super Metroid. All right, so here's my thing. If you're going to do a Metroid in a list, they already had Prime. I think Super Metroid should be there over Prime.
I would say Super Metroid should be there over Prime, but I would say if you already have Symphony of the Night, you don't need Super Metroid.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And both are great and both deserve to be on this list. So I'm not mad at it being on the list at all. Don't get me wrong. But the way this list has been kind of set up so far, you kind of don't need both.
But see, what's funny is until Castlevania, the term Metroidvania was not a thing. Like at
It
this
was just
point,
it was just a Metroid game. Yes, I agree. Yeah.
yeah. So I agree with you. I still think if you have Super Metroid, you don't need Prime, is my opinion. And I'm okay even if you have Castlevania. I'm even okay with the placement, to be honest.
And you know what? I would be fine with having this over Prime too. Yeah.
Yeah, but absolutely should be on there. 9, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Absolutely.
Yep.
I'm even okay with the placement. 8, Final Fantasy 7. Absolutely.
Obviously. Yeah.
7, Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay. I don't know about the placement. I'll say that,
Yeah, I
but
mean
I'm
that that
I'm okay with it.
that is placed for its influence and its hype, not for its actual gameplay at this point.
Yeah. 6, Half-Life 2. Yep.
Yep.
Did you ever actually beat that?
Never beat it. I played some of it though. I never beat it. You know what it is? I need to play that on PC because playing it through Orange Box on Xbox with like the 2006 control scheme for a first person shooter, it's a little rough.
Interesting. Okay. 5, Last of Us. I would say yes.
Uh,
I
I
I
I've
don't love
never
the
played it.
placement.
I've never played it, but I'm fine with it being on there.
Yeah. I don't love the placement. And I actually love the game. So I'll just say that. 4, Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it bother? Okay, so they broke protocol with Metroid. Does it bother you? This is the
Just
only Super Mario game.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. Okay.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
do
like,
agree. I probably of the 2D Mario games, this I think is the best. But to
yes.
not have 3 on there, it still feels a little or
Or,
even 1.
or like, they have Metroid Prime and Super Metroid, but they have Super Mario World and no 3D Mario. That is a
True.
brave choice.
Yeah.
So back to
3.
your theory, Brian. This is a very personal list.
Yes. 3, GTA 5, absolutely.
Yep.
2, Tetris, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And 1, Breath of the Wild. I'm fine with it on the list. And unfortunately, too many people, I think this is the safe bet. Unfortunately. But you already fucking had a Legend of Zelda. Like we just said, you got one 2D Mario, no 3D Mario. You had a 2D Zelda and you put a 3D on here. You fuck with your protocol with that. And I know it's going to be on most people's list, but you and I were both bored to tears with this game. And I get it. It should be on the list.
I wasn't bored to tears, but I did not finish it. So I'll say that. You were
Did you
bored to
ever not
tears.
finish? Did you ever not finish the sex session? Nope, because you weren't bored to tears because your penis didn't break off because of terrible mechanics.
Bri, that is a bad comparison because I am finished way before I could ever get to that point.
Damn it! So,
But no, here,
uh,
no, you know what's funny about Breath of the Wild and even Tears of the Kingdom, depending on the list? That's basically taking the spot Ocarina always took. But now there's finally
yes,
like a 3D game that's like that popular in the zeitgeist that they can give it to that with like a more modern control scheme over like Ocarina is dated, but it
sure.
was extremely, it's Ocarina. So,
Hmm.
but it is funny to see how those games now are just basically taking that spot.
So, Chambers, overall, I'd say most of this list I'm actually completely fine with. We talked about a few that I think you kind of fucked around, but I did decide to write up a few things that I think were I'm always shocked when I hear top 50 games I expect to see on here. I want to see if you agree with me. So one, BioShock
I would almost call that borderline.
in top 50. You don't think it should be
You
or
know what?
you
I would be fine singing in the top 50, but I'm also kind of fine if someone doesn't put it there, to be honest with you. Like, don't get me wrong. I loved it. And when it came out, it was a 100% shock to the system. Well, fuck. Well, there's a pun for you. But, yeah, you
it's
know
not
what?
System Shock 2.
Don't you dare. You know what? That is a good comparison because you could say, why isn't System Shock on here instead for its,
Because BioShock is better.
I'd be fine saying that, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I really did love BioShock, even though the last third of the game was just kind of like filler. But yeah, no, it is weird to not see it on here. I'll give you that.
Two, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic or any Star Wars game. in top
If,
50.
if there was going to be any of them, it would be Knights of the Old Republic.
Should it
I
break the 50?
I mean, for a lot of people, it probably should. I only spent maybe like 2 hours with it, and I was just like, it's it's very
Okay.
dated. So unless you played it in that era, which this guy must be in our same age group if he has fucking NBA 2K11 on his list. So
That's,
I,
yeah.
I think he's in our era, but yeah, I don't think a lot of people nowadays would go to it for the first time and enjoy themselves. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Uh, because this guy seems like he's in our era, any just a single wrestling game in the top 50, like you can't throw, whether you do No Mercy, SmackDown, something, you can't throw a bone to
WCW Revenge, or Here Comes the Pain, like one of those. You know
just,
what? I'm perfectly fine with a wrestling game not being on there, but if it's like one of the top tier wrestling games, I'm always happy to see it. I'll put it that way.
okay.
I don't think any wrestling game needs to be on a top 50 list.
Okay. Um, what you and I already talked about, to have just Super Mario World and not three, not
Uh,
one, not a 3D.
oh, the biggest snub is no 3D on there. Like,
Yeah.
and when it comes to 3Ds, it either has to be 64, Galaxy 1, or Odyssey. It has to be one of those three, and the fact that neither of them are on this list is kind of shocking. That is the biggest, like, yeah.
One game that I can't tell if it's losing its luster, but we saw forever is Undertale.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point.
You
Because
see
that,
that from a music standpoint, from an RPG standpoint, from a decision, like to not see it on a top 50 list is actually just, I played it, I really liked it. I think it's a little overrated, but we see it on everyone's list, and to not see it shocks me a little bit.
yeah, I mean, for like a good 4 years, it was probably like considered like one of the most important games ever made. And
That
now,
could have taken Celeste spot,
eh, you know what? If it took the last spot, I would have been fine with
is
that.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. One that I don't think should be top 50 just because it doesn't play any well, but I know how important it was. Fucking GoldenEye.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about influential first person shooters on console, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's that. Bright, are you a little butthurt to not see either a StarCraft or an Age of Empires on here?
I did
Or
have
or
StarCraft.
or a Total War?
Uh, Here, I've accepted when you talk about RTSs,
It's very niche.
they're never going to talk Age of Empires. As much as I love it and all the other, or even a fucking Total War game, they'll never put them on here. I almost want StarCraft on there just to represent RTSs, period.
Yeah.
And the competitive scene of that, I don't know if it rivals League of Legends, but I feel like back in the day it was so important that it should.
Well, here's the thing. Like League blows it out of the water at this point. And
At this
we're
point, but
yeah.
back in the day, like
Oh yeah.
I
And
don't know.
actually, weirdly enough, Brood Wars competitive scene is way healthier than StarCraft 2's right now. And
Hmm.
StarCraft 2 came out 15 years later. Like it's actually kind of crazy to see that like like it's almost like someone put it very well and like because I watched this one guy, his name's Artosis casts, and he only casts Brood War games. And there's a comment section where it's just like they're like everything is so overpowered in Brood War that it's perfectly fair somehow. Where everything's so ridiculous it all cancels each other out. Whereas like
Yeah.
StarCraft 2 is kind of a mess. So that they're still trying to figure out. And actually, Age of Empires still has like a kind of decent competitive play thing. And like that has held the test of time over all the sequels that came after it. So yeah, it's like it almost seems like between 1997 and 2003, like RTS has peaked, and they've never been as good again since, unfortunately.
And that's where like I feel like the gap was filled by, I think they're called 4X games like Total War, there was a Lord of Rings, all these different Warhammer 40,000s. There's games that are really great that have RTS elements in them. Um I would like to see one of them represent, like, just the fact that like Rome Total War was the first time you could have fucking 80,000 people on screen fighting each other. And I'm like, just for that, should something from that genre should be on there. But it's not. Um One that I think is overrated that I know you love that's on every list, similar to Undertale, I feel like it's starting to lose its shine is Portal 2.
Oh yeah, I'm shocked to not see Portal 2 on, or Portal 1
Like
or 2 on here.
other than Tetris, there's no puzzle games. So I'm like, it's Portal 2 is always like ball sucked. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it should be on there. Maybe not.
You know what? I'm not mad that it's not on there, but yeah, it is kind of weird to not see it on there now that you mention it.
And then when we talk action games, obviously it's filled by Uncharted and some of these others, but no Tomb Raiders, even the remakes. The original Tomb Raiders do suck. I'm going to say that right now. Anyone
Yeah.
that defends the original games, they blowed. The remakes, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the original Tomb Raiders are just nostalgia. Yeah, you know what it is? If you have Uncharted, you don't need Tomb Raider. That's the problem.
And it brought
Uncharted.
me to, I didn't even know where to put it, but like to not have a single racing game, and I don't count Mario Kart, but like any type of racing game, I don't know what you put there. Do you put a Gran Turismo? Do you put a Forza? Do you put a, like, I don't know, but like to eliminate the entire genre to a kart racer seems almost like you gotta throw it in there. Like you fucking put Sims in there. Do you need to put a racing game in there? Maybe.
You know what? I would be fine with like if they took out like, for this point for how new it is, if you took out Baldur's Gate and it's I mean, I'm happy to see a tactical game on there. But if you took that out and you throw in like a Gran Turismo, or even if you fucking go old school with like Outrun or like arcadey silly games like Blur, just some kind of representation.
Something. So that's my point is throw something in there for that genre. Just like I guess Resident Evil 4 satisfies the horror genre, but I'm like, there's no Silent Hill, there's no Slender Man, there's no Five Nights at Freddy. Like, you don't
Alien
have
Isolation, yeah.
something to fill the real legit horror genre. I'm like,
Well, unfortunately, horror is still
oh,
niche too. Yeah.
oh, it's the most. Trust me. Oh, I know. But was there any others that you saw that you're like, fuck, how'd they not have this in here?
You know what? Weirdly enough, I didn't put that much thought into it. But I think if I sat down with it, I probably could easily be like, wait, how the fuck's this not on here?
That's kind of why I feel like something like Celeste, arguably the NBA game.
You know what? It's kind of weird not seeing Journey on here because Journey always seems to be that art house pick that's on every one of these lists, but that didn't make it
Yeah.
this time. I guess Celeste took its spot, which I'm fine with Celeste being on here instead of Journey because Celeste is more of a real game.
What about knowing what I'm saying that there's genres missing? Should Wii Sports still be in top 50?
Yes.
You still think so?
Yes. Wii Sports is
Over
one of them.
Tecmo Bowl, over NBA Jam, or even a hockey game or a soccer game or all that?
Wii Sports changed the industry for 10 years. It needs to be on there.
Hmm.
Every other company tried to copy what Wii Sports did.
So in that
Even Nintendo tried to copy what Wii Sports did and couldn't.
so in that same breath, could you say like Dance Dance Revolution for what it did to arcades?
I would be fine with DDR being on here. I'd be 100% fine with that.
Hmm. Okay. Like I said,
I mean, if
we
you put
talked.
fucking Pong on there, like just for historical, like put it at 50, I would be fine with Pong being on there. Or Space Invaders, or fucking, if you want to, if you're going old school for influence. Um, there's no shoot 'em ups on the list, but again, very niche genre.
Jim, does it hurt your heart to not see a single legit beat 'em up on here?
You know what? Beat 'em ups are very niche. I'm not shocked to not see a beat 'em up on here.
But it does shock me though
It
because I
it
feel
hurts.
like,
It hurts my heart as a beat 'em up fanatic, but I get it.
but like I think about
And you
Okay,
know what,
so
Bry?
we
Bry,
grew up.
Bry.
Yeah.
I would even give it this. I would 100% expect to either see Turtles in Time or Shredder's Revenge to represent the genre. Even if they put those on there and not Streets of Rage, I'd go, I get it because it's got
Well,
that
that's my
massive
point.
appeal.
Like, yeah, if you put Turtles in Time, probably by proxy is going to get it because of the Turtles reference and all that. But like, to not have a single beat 'em up, that's I, I don't know. That's a lot for me.
Hey, it hurts, but that's always been a genre that, people have gone, for people who don't love it, have just gone, yeah, he just punched the whole time. Yeah.
I don't get it. But yeah, no, like I said, of lists we've reviewed, I don't I don't
Oh,
absolutely hate
you
this.
know what? I'm shocked that there's not more fighting games than just Street Fighter 2 and like Tekken 3's not on here.
There's no 3D fighter, right? Like so no Soul Calibur, Tekken,
Virtual
s-
Fighter.
something that's a 3D fighter to really fill the gap. I can accept absolutely Street Fighter 2, even though I look at Mortal Kombat and I'm like, that literally changed the rating system and fatalities and all that. Like, people played way more Street Fighter 2. And I can
Hey,
accept that.
hey, Bry, where are the light gun games? No light gun games. We want to talk niche? We'll
That's
talk
true.
niche. Where's the light
And
gun? Where's Virtual Cop? Where's Duck Hunt? Where's, there's so much shit you could put on there.
if you go
House of
light
the
gun
Dead.
games, do you
You
go
can have your
House
horror and your light gun. There you
do
go.
you
Two for
go
one.
House of the Dead or Virtua Cop?
I would go House of the Dead because I always liked them more, but I see more Virtual Cop cabinets. So
And Virtua Cop did have the slide action on the gun.
yeah, sure fucking did, didn't it?
And that sound that slide back was it was pretty fucking cool.
Or T2 Arcade.
I'd still go Virtua Cop.
Ooh,
T2
all right.
Arcade was too bullshitty hard. You could get pretty
Fair,
far in Virtua Cop.
fair.
Yeah. But yeah, no, all in all, I do I love looking at lists like this because it sparks things in me going like, what would I put in here? Like what should be in here? What's missing? It is interesting because you have Pac-Man in there, you have Tetris, like those very simple games. But like you just said, you could have Pong, you could have whatever's. But I think as generations move on, they're not even going to be considered. Fortunately or unfortunately, that's just the reality.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I didn't really see a lot of hate for this list when I put it on. Like, this has been on our back burner for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
But I didn't see a ton of hate for it, and I'm glad because I think it's a solid list.
it is.
But
It really is.
the most I saw was like maybe just recency bias, but besides that, it's like, nah, I'm fine with this list.
I
And from
had
Rolling Stone of all fucking places.
Well, that's why I said like I had some issues with placements of some of the games,
Yeah.
but honestly, when I get to so when I looked up this list, I decided let me look up top games from multiple companies, and honestly, in the top 20, they're almost all interchangeable. You always get that one asshole that's like, I'm gonna put flowers in here, or some bullshit, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. But for the most part, it's pretty universal what you're going to have in those top lists. It's just where you place them is what it comes down to.
Yeah, true.
So Chambers, how did the Neshaminy Creek Shape of Hops or yeah
The Shape of Haze to Come.
Shape of Hopsicum is it called?
Shape of
Haze to
Haze
come,
to Come
yeah.
because it's a hazy IPA. Um, this is fantastic. Um, for almost 9% alcohol for being a hazy IPA, it's perfectly balanced. So I really don't have any complaints. I don't know if you're not an IPA fan of this will convert you to it, but if you're a guy like us who's been, going to breweries for years now and trying all different kinds of shit, this is for any beer connoisseur, I would say this is one to try. I still think for the casual audience this would be too intense, but for, beer aficionados, there's nothing to not like in this one.
Yeah, and for a porter, imperial porters, this shit is heavy. I'm just gonna say it hits you hard, but the flavor is so good. Even though it is very sweet, it doesn't It's not the same as some other sweet beers where they're gonna sit like so heavy on your stomach. It just hits you hard. Really, really tasty. And the nice part about these beers is they come in a variety pack, so you can have some other styles. So I would highly recommend that. But with that, folks, we want to say thank you all so much for listening and watching. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the notification bell, hit the subscription, leave a comment, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like. And if you're listening to us on Podbean, on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us, leave us a 5-star rating. And if you give us a comment, we'll read on each and every one of these Power Hour podcasts. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, everybody.